All right, welcome folks. Welcome to LA2M. It's a couple minutes after 12, and we always start at noon, but I guess today we started at 12:02 just because I was running around. So anyways, thank you for coming. This is LA2M, and we meet weekly. We have brilliant speakers and good food from counters. So just curious, anyone here for the very first LA2M meeting? Any first timers? Okay, welcome, welcome. It's we've been doing this now since 2008, so this is our 6th year, and we bring in speakers. We have a community online, so feel free to join us. We have a LinkedIn page, a Facebook page. You can like us there. You can follow along on Twitter at LA2M, and Emily will be live tweeting Eric's talk here on Twitter, so you can follow along. You can actually also check in at LA2M on Foursquare if anyone still uses Foursquare. So please make sure to connect with us socially so we can stay in touch. And LA2M is a 501c3 nonprofit group. So what that means is we run weekly programming. We've recently started, well, this year we started charging $5 admission, which I hope is okay with everyone because in the past we've passed the hat. But the reason we charge the $5 is because there's some hard costs to running this group, so that really helps us stay above the red. So we appreciate all of you who come and pay that. We appreciate that. It keeps the group running. We also have sponsors. So as a 501c3, we are funded by sponsors. And we have a new, well, Jim's usually here to talk sponsors. So we have a couple of gold sponsors. So we have Washington Community College. They're not here today, but they have great programs. If you're interested in a digital certificate program, it's on the back table, the information at WCC. Great program from Washington Community College. We also have Broward Mall as a sponsor, which is cool. And Denise Murray came in and gave a talk a few weeks ago about sensory marketing. And if you haven't been to Broward, you should go check it out because it's one of the coolest malls in the Detroit area. And it's fun, and you can buy things, and they're a sponsor. So it's always good to support our sponsors. And then this month, our November sponsor, and he's not here, is Ross Johnson and 3.7 Designs. You guys know them, most of you? 3.7 Designs, they do wonderful websites. They are a WordPress shop. Ross and Lindsay also run the WordPress Ann Arbor group, and they organized WordCamp a couple weeks ago. So if anyone's into WordPress, that's who you want to talk to, Ross Johnson. And 3.7 Designs, again, is a sponsor. So please support our sponsors. We appreciate what they do for us. And just so you know, to be a sponsor, a monthly sponsor, is $250. And we send out our newsletter 4 times a month, and you get a nice banner on there. And that goes out to 2,000 people in Southeast Michigan. So that's a pretty big group, a pretty big list of people. And it's educated people like yourselves. Really smart people in the marketing and sales and, you know, CEOs, owners of businesses. But you also get to promote your business at LA2M. So you can bring things, you can talk. Bud was our sponsor the previous couple months with his search marketing workshop, which is this Friday. And I know a lot of you are going, so that's going to be great, and I'm sure you're sold out. There's a waiting list. There's people camped out right now outside of Eastern Michigan University waiting.
That's actually almost the truth.
Almost the truth.
Except they send me emails instead.
Okay, right. So they're virtually camping out on Bud's email to get admission. It's like a Rolling Stones concert or something. But anyways, the format of our meeting, our speaker's going to talk for around 30 minutes, and at the end of that time, there will be some time for Q&A, and you can ask questions, and then we do introductions at the end. So if you want to introduce yourself, and briefly, if you're looking for something, if you're looking to hire somebody, if you got some good news to share, you can share that, and then pass the microphone to your buddy, and we always finish by 1 o'clock. All right. Did I miss anything? Anybody think anything I missed? No? Pretty good? Okay. All right. T-shirt. Oh, T-shirt. Okay. Eric, we're going to do the obligatory. This is a T-shirt for you. And you can hold up. We're going to take a quick photo. See the photographer again? Oh, let's sit over. Oh, you can put it on? You can hold it up. So you can wear this for all your important outings. That's right. This T-shirt was donated by Bank of Ann Arbor because Bank of Ann Arbor helps. That's what they do, so they give us T-shirts. And then we give to our brilliant speakers as part of the compensation for coming out here because we do appreciate it. But Eric Cedo, you guys are in for a real treat. Eric's been in the business for a while as kind of a digital expert on the forefront of digital marketing, and he's working with Crains now for a few years and doing some really progressive things. So, what's the title? The Natives Are Restless. Are media and marketers friends, enemies, or frenemies? I don't know. We're about to find out. Let's give Eric Cedo a warm round of applause and welcome him to LA2M.
Thank you. So, Good news is, I'm a speaker. The bad news is I don't think I'm brilliant. So I apologize for that in advance. You're used to brilliant speakers. Today you just get me. Just a little bit about me, though. Just want to, and I don't like talking about me necessarily, but I think I'm trying to print from Jessica's iPad. No, I'm not. Let's try that again. So, no, I'm not Jessica, and this is not my microphone. But just a little bit about me. It's good to be back in Ann Arbor. I'm a proud alumni of the University of Michigan and studied political science, and that was my degree. I like to say that I'm kind of a unique marketer in that I didn't take a single marketing class and never worked in an ad agency per se. But I've been, as Derek mentioned, in digital marketing and sort of now everything now in a print publication for about the past 15 years, and it's pretty much been my life in terms of marketing and advertising, and I'm really excited to share some of the things that I've been learning, especially in this transition, and that was the story about me that's interesting is that, as Derek mentioned, I was in social media. I had a social media agency, one of the first in the state, one of the first in the country, really, and it was in 2005. I started brand gain marketing. Our first client was the state of Michigan. It was a talent attraction and retention campaign called My Life, My Times. We had this crazy idea of going to blogs and commenting on blogs and developing a community and posting on this new thing called WordPress. and this was radical kind of stuff, and this new thing called YouTube, and MySpace was, all the rage at the time, and Facebook was still closed to most of us. So I was in that space for a long time, and I ended up in a stage 2 software company where I was the director of marketing and learned a lot about B2B marketing and just the unique nature of B2B, and wasn't really looking to leave. I had a great job, options, buying up the company. It was cash flow positive, over $1 million in revenue, and doing really well. And got a call from a recruiter, and wasn't necessarily interested in taking the call, but I decided to anyways, just because I know people that are looking for work, and so I thought it would be nice to find out what the position was. And they said it was audience development, which I'd never heard of. And wouldn't tell me the company. Said it was a local media company, and I for sure wasn't interested because I had no interest in media per se. But when they told me, eventually the headhunter told me it was for Crain's Detroit business and working for Mary Kramer, and it changed my view on that just enough to at least take a look. And what's the interesting story about that is not that I went to Crain, but it's that I left marketing in the sense of B2B marketing, B2C marketing, and went and worked for a media company. First time I'd ever worked for a media company. And by media, I mean print, online, digital, social events, and we do it all. And the role that I'm in, and I'm over both Detroit and Cleveland, is called audience development, an old term for circulation. But as you can imagine, the industry's changed so much. I'm responsible for our website traffic, our social media traffic, event attendance, circulation, both print, digital, online, tablet, and really growing our audience. And a lot of my friends, when they heard that I was leaving, this go-go software company, stage 2 startup life, and going to work for a print company, a lot of people probably thought I was crazy. Matter of fact, a lot of people said, "You're working where are you working? You're going there?" And to be honest with you, I thought a lot about that too. Leaving what I had known and loved and was somewhat good at to go to media, especially a traditionally print company, it raised a lot of eyebrows, and not the least of which is my wife, who depends somewhat on my salary. And so what my response was, because I was in marketing, because I understood, especially B2B marketing, there's two things that you can't get enough of, and yet they're the two things that are hardest to come by when you're in marketing. So first off, I don't want to assume anything. How many of you are involved in marketing in one way, shape, or form? Raise your hand. Anyone work for media? Okay. Where?
Right now, I represent the Ann magazine.
The Ann magazine, okay. All right.
I used to work at LA2M.
Okay. And someone else?
freelance, but Crain's is one of my clients.
Oh, very good. So you're buying me lunch, right? That was a joke. Okay. Come on, folks, do it. All right, so I left and I went to a media company. So all of you in marketing, you guys probably all know this. You should know this. The two things that are hardest to come by that are essential, especially in B2B marketing, but it's the case with all marketing, is content. So good content and niche audiences. Good content and niche audiences that you can reach. And when I look at Crain Communications, I look at the media industry, especially the company I work for. We have over 27 publications, not only Crain's Detroit, New York, Chicago, Cleveland, but we have Ad Age and Auto Week and Automotive News and just a ton of other trade publications. When people see print, what I see and what I understand now, especially I'm in the business, is audience. That we have reach into one of the highest, and this is not a sales pitch by any means, but I just want to show you, prove a point that will lead us into our discussion. Our audience is predominantly C-level business decision makers all across North America. About 7 million C-level executives in our known database through all of our publications. Out of that 7 million, about 85% or so are the top level executives within their organization. So when you imagine the purchasing power of that organization, and then not only do we have this great niche audience that is so lucrative and that B2B marketers and advertisers are trying to reach in droves, we also have content creators. So we call them journalists, but we have video production, we have webinar, webcast, event. We have content. That's what we do. And when you look at, from a marketing standpoint, the two things that are hardest to come by are the things that at Crain's and a lot of other media companies like ours that we do so well. I saw so much opportunity that the two can come together. And then I started the job. And then I realized pretty quickly there's a huge wall of separation between church and state, between editorial and marketing, between not only our advertisers, but literally the way we're set up at Crain's Detroit. Our editorial team is in one part of the floor. Our marketing and sales team is another part. We talk, in the hallway, hey, how you doing? But we don't really talk a lot. We don't, and we for sure don't talk about who's advertising or who's writing what stories. There's a wall of church and state. But the more that we get into some of the new realities of media and marketing, we're realizing, one of my colleagues, Nancy Hannes, who used to run digital at Detroit News, now she runs digital at Crain's Detroit, she said, I consider it more like a chain link fence. That there is a separation, but there's communication, and more we're working together. So what I appreciate now more so than ever is the role of journalism, the role of ethical journalism, and the importance of not being bought and paid for by advertisers and marketing. And that role, and we take it very seriously at Crain. I know any good publication does as well. And yet every day we're dealing with this reality of what is transparent, what is open and honest. You can't have media without marketing, but you can't have media and journalism if the the perception of your publication or what you're writing is that it is bought and paid for by corporations, by advertisers. And you lose your credibility, you lose your audience. And so that's why when I was asked about coming and speaking, I wanted to address this topic, because most of you are in media, you've probably never been on the other, or most of you in marketing, you've probably never been on the media side. And so there's this interesting dynamic that's always at play, and that a lot of times can butt heads. Are we friends, are we enemies, or is it something in between, frenemies? So, I want to be clear. Print is in decline, but content is still king. If you can't see this, I'll basically explain it. What you see on the left side is 1950 ad revenue from newspapers, around $20 billion. It peaked at $65.8 billion in 2000, and now we're back down under $20 million, somewhere in the range of $23.6 billion when you include digital and newspaper combined. But when you look at these kind of numbers and you see this rapid decline of newspaper advertising revenues, coupled with the inevitable that happens, and fortunately at Crain's we're doing very well. Crain's Detroit, we've been able to maintain our circulation numbers and our print numbers, especially after the 2009 downturn. But what you're also seeing is a significant decrease in full-time journalism jobs. And what used to be, the time-honored tradition of being that journalist and going out and getting that enterprise story, the resources available to the newsrooms have decreased dramatically. And that caused big concern, one, for the kinds of content and the stories and the time spent and really focusing on getting the story, getting it right, but also the decreased resources coupled with all the new mediums where before you'd only had to get a print product out once a week if you're a weekly like we are, or a newspaper where it's just once a day. Now with digital, with social, with tablet, the news is constant, it's never ending. So you have more content being consumed than ever with fewer resources, and that's a big, big issue. Media consumption is also shifting. So this is, again, 2010 through 2014. You may not be able to see that, but I'll just describe it. At the top, you see digital. This is time spent per day, major media by adults in percentages. So in 2010, 29.6% of media spent in a day is in digital. That's going to grow this year to about 50%, 47.1. TV went from 40.9 down to 36.5. Radio is seeing a decline. But when you look at print, between magazines and newspapers, 7.7% in 2010, and it's estimated that that's going to be cut in half this year. 3.5%. So you have this coupling of declining in revenue, declining in resources, declining in physical viewers in print, and a move towards digital, which we all know that should not be come as a surprise. But ad spending has changed as well. When you look on the left-hand side, you have internet. This is the increase year over year from 2013 to 2014. Internet is increasing by 14%, TV 5%. The total across all media increase is 5.2%. When you look at the right-hand side, you look at radio, magazine, and newspapers, traditional media, traditional journalism outlets. You have a 2% increase in radio, a 3.5% decrease in magazine spending, and a 4.1% decrease in newspapers. And this has continued on for quite a while now. So digital, everything's moving to digital. But display ads are just so... Sorry if you make a living off display ads. You may want to reconsider. So here's just some stats. This is fun. This is taken from Digiday and Business Insider. This is on HubSpot's blog. They just compiled these. You're more likely to complete Navy SEAL training than click on a banner. I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna go all these. Here's one. The average person is served over 1,700 banner ads per month. Do you remember any of them? I mean, I do because I sort of have to look, but other than what I have to look at, I really don't. Can't say that I do. You're more likely to summit Mount Everest than click a banner ad. More likely to give birth to twins than click a banner ad. You're more likely to get into MIT than click a banner ad. And you're more likely to survive a plane crash than click on a banner ad. Unless you're Austin Hatch, and then you survive 2 plane crashes, and you're twice as likely. By the way, Michigan basketball. How many is big Michigan basketball? I just wanted to say that because it's coming soon, in case you're depressed. Basketball is coming. Yes?
Is this a banner ad on paper or on the web?
Web banner, so click-through banner ads. So display advertising traditionally is considered web banner ads that are in specific ad units on a website. So like on our site, we have banner ads, and so those are the skyscraper, the leaderboard, the 300 by 250. How many are familiar with banner ads? Okay, Mark, how many's bought display ads for yourself, customers? Okay, all right. So when everything's moving to the internet, everything's moving to digital, and there's the old saying that what used to you spend in a one-page, like a full-page ad, moving to run-of-site banner ads, you're going from dollars to dimes. How many's ever heard that term before? That the amount of money that used to be spent in one full-page ad in a newspaper or magazine, now moving to digital, the cost is so much less. So again, you have a decrease in revenue, even though the shift is moving to mobile and digital, and the media companies are doing likewise. A lot of dailies don't even exist anymore. They only exist in a digital form now. So when you have banner ad is your major ad unit where you get your revenue from, and when you see this as a marketer and you realize this, you know this, that the likelihood of someone actually clicking on a banner ad is really low, I ask the question, and it's something to ponder, who is this a problem for? Is it a problem for media that people just don't respond to banner ads? Is this a problem for marketers? When everyone is going to digital and your main ad unit is a banner ad that you know doesn't work. In reality, it's a problem for both. So we'll talk about the role of media and journalistic integrity, because you have to understand this to understand where we're going with native advertising. Yes?
I want to go back to the previous slide.
Sometimes,
yeah.
Newspapers?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Sometimes an ad, be it a banner ad or an ad in Lucky or an ad in Sports Illustrated, is not necessarily to generate a sale, but to generate a positive affinity for the product. So whether people click through or not, just the fact that it helps with the unaided recall means it's worth something. It's not worth nothing just because people don't click through.
Yeah, so the big challenge of that is the point we just proved that. Can you just rattle off a banner ad that you saw?
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, it's hard to create a brand affinity in a 300 by 250 pixel space. Number three, the only way you can track that is by click-through rates and ultimately to some kind of landing page, especially when you're a B2B marketer, which is the predominance of our advertisers or B2B marketers. It's all about lead generation. It's all about getting them into the CRM, getting them into a funnel. And it's not just B2B anymore. That's even B2C now. We're getting them into the funnel, getting them signed up, the drip marketing, the marketing automation. That all happens at some point of lead capture that is driven by, and again, in your media, it's driven by, and you're right. So there's value in brand advertising, no question about that. The challenge always is you just have no way to measure it. Very difficult to measure. And as a marketer, and again, I'm blessed that I've been on both sides. When I was deep into marketing, I had an ad budget. Well, I still am now. I do marketing for Crain. I don't spend money on stuff that I can't measure. I just don't. So you focus on things you can measure, but then when you have a hard time justifying costs, you look for other opportunities because you have to get that message out. Yeah.
Just a quick question. When you're using the word digital, are you referring to any type of mobile type advertising, whether it's a tablet or a phone or?
Yes, so
yes.
On that last slide,
not just
digital spend.
Yes, you're including all of that.
Yeah, the media consumption for digital means desktop, smartphone, tablet, any kind of digital device where you're accessing content through the web, okay, as opposed to TV. So yes, there's brand advertising, and that's part of it. By the way, we all have marketing mixes. We do some brand, we do some direct, we do some experiential, we do some, any good marketer will diversify. But when you see these, again, when you see these trends, and you see the numbers of media consumption, and you realize that over half of, and by the way, this is adults. You look at the younger demographic, it's almost twice that much. Where kids are watching YouTube more than they're watching television. Right? So when you have this, again, so I want to go into media, and then we're going to touch more on this about what I see. So this is taken straight from the Society of Professional Journalists, their Code of Ethics. Avoid conflicts of interest, real or perceived. Refuse gifts. Beware of sources offering information for favors or money. I don't want to touch that. Deny favor treatment to advertisers, donors, or any other special interest. And then finally, distinguish news from advertising and shun hybrids that blur the lines between the two. Prominently label sponsored content. Again, taken straight from the Society of Professional Journalistic Code of Ethics. Why is this important? Why is this important? Because credibility and integrity in journalism, I believe, is fundamental to free society. How many would agree with that? The role of the press, the role of having that It is fundamental to a free society, and if you want to dispute that, go to anywhere where the news is controlled by government, controlled, and I know a lot of us are skeptics that, well, our media is controlled by corporations. That may be the case in a lot of places, and I can only speak for myself. That is absolutely not the case at Crain. There's absolutely no blending of advertising and journalism in terms of what our journalists write. They're not influenced by who spins, and there's no discussion about, one of the famous cases that I can remember is Wayne State just did a huge ad buy with us. At the same time, Tom Henderson wrote this scathing rebuke of the Wayne State University's research, and ultimately got the person that was running it fired because it was, I mean, and again, here's this huge ad buy, and at the same time, it was the same week. But that's important because, again, to have credibility and to have that watchdog role, you have to remain credible. And yet, what do you do when your revenues are shrinking, when your profitability is shrinking, when your resources are declining, and you see that your advertisers and marketers are moving away from just a standard print ad and trying to move more towards digital, but banner ads don't work. What do you do? Separation of church and state, it's always existed, but now we have this dilemma. Declining ad revenue, declining readership, declining resources, and unfortunately, more and more declining credibility. It's a huge dilemma in media. So the reality is today that church and state is more at a crossroads than ever before. It's more at a crossroads than ever before. The need for marketers to get their message out as storytellers instead of just slick ad salespeople is crucial. And marketers, advertisers know this. At the same time, media and their integrity and ethics of making sure that the articles written are not influenced by someone pay to play. So there has to be a crossroads. And that's where we get native advertising. So the official definition by sharecrew.com, but a lot of people use this, but the idea of native advertising, if you've never heard of it, it's a form of paid media where the ad experience follows the natural form and function of the user experience in which it is placed. All right, now that's pretty weird. I'm going to show you some examples. This is not new. Advertising and marketing have been doing these hybrids for a long time. As a matter of fact, the FTC wrote its first standards on journalism and advertorials back in 1968, I believe. But this is a good example in 1989 of an advertorial that ran in newspapers. Now, the interesting thing about this is when you look at this, it looks like an article in a newspaper. But to take it a step further, that's why I love this specific example, they not only created this piece that looked like an article, but they also placed an ad inside of their ad. How to buy houses using a home computer. But you can't see it. It says full day seminar, $39, 1989. So this is an advertorial. And this is what now is considered native advertising. But it's been happening for a long time. Something that looks like it's part of the user experience. So if you're in a newspaper, you've ever turned the newspaper and you see a full page ad for some kind of pharmaceutical, right? Some kind of drug, and it looks, just like studies have shown, 52%. That's advertorial, but that's also native advertising. In native advertising, there's what there's called the Core 6 ad units, and this is by the IAB. It's a consortium of advertisers and marketers that got together to start putting some guidelines around this. First off, how many has never heard of the term native advertising? Raise your hand. Okay, a couple people. All right. How many are pretty sure you know what native advertising is? Raise your hand. How many things that you don't know? How many things you got? Things that you can learn about native advertising. Good. Because otherwise I'll just stop right now. Okay, good. So the Core 6 ad units: paid search, recommendation widgets, promoted listings, in-ad units, in-feed units, and then custom or can't be contained. And I'm going to just sort of quickly walk through each one. So the top left, the paid search unit. This is the one that you're probably most familiar with. This is when you go and Google something, or you know, the 1% of you that actually Bing something or whatever you use. When you go and you do a search, you get your listings, but above your listings, you get the sponsored listings, right? That's considered native advertising. What that is it's an ad. Someone bought and paid for the right to be up there, but it looks exactly like the rest of the ad or the search results, right? With one little caveat. It says sponsored, or it'll say featured, or it'll be highlighted in different color. It's a nuance, but it is marked and it's labeled that it is it will actually, again, it's tough to see here, but up in the left, on those, it literally says ad, A-D, in yellow right next to it, so people know. But that's native advertising. How many's ever been on something, this example is People, but we have it on our website, Discuss, others have this, where you'll be reading an article, and then there's something that says, here's recommended articles for you. How many's ever seen that? So some of you may not realize that that's actually a revenue stream for publishers. That you can do a recommended article, or how many's ever seen Discuss? You know, we have this, a lot of media. Here's the 5 stories on our site that are most read, and then here's 5 other stories around the web you may be interested in. Those around the web stories, that's paid advertising. People are paying to be there. So that's recommendation widget. Promoted listings. So you're, in this case, you're on Expedia, and you do a search for vacation packages in the Bahamas, and you get your listings, but then you get these featured or promoted listings, maybe 5 or 6 that are above all the search results. Again, paid to be there, promoted listings. The ones that are really interesting, especially for media, is, and this is called an in-ad unit with native elements. So what this means is, in a traditional banner ad unit or banner ad area, so where you typically see your skyscraper banner ad, and it might be a static ad or maybe some kind of flash, the ad itself becomes native advertising, meaning that it has something of value or content that is relevant to the page that you're on. So in this case, this is on all recipes, right? So it's recipes that you can search, but then there's an ad unit where you can also get Campbell's recipes, right? So this is considered an in-ad native element, all right? Everybody with me? Okay. And then what's called in-feed. So these are sponsored posts. These are even within, you got 10 minutes? Okay. Even within like a newsletter or some kind of feed where you see a story or article. Again, the most common example for most of us is in Facebook or LinkedIn or now even Twitter, where you have sponsored or ad units, promoted tweets. So right in the context of what you're looking at, and Facebook is probably the best example. I can post something on our Crain's Detroit page, and then it's just a post. It's just a post, and anyone that is fed that, you know, it's going to the stream, they can look at that. But I can spend a little extra money to have that post boosted, and when you boost that post, it goes on more people's Facebook pages or in their streams or on their mobile device. And so the reason why this is becoming more and more a shift is, and I didn't have time to go into this because we're really short on time, but the consumption of media has been overtaken by the news stream. The news stream. You think about it, and what are you looking at? What are you clicking on? Are you going to a website? How many times are you physically typing in a URL anymore and going somewhere throughout the day? Some of us do upon occasion. The vast majority of us, we're looking at Facebook, we're looking at Twitter, we're looking at LinkedIn, we're looking at the stream. And again, the digital space, even though we said it's nearing 50%, the mobile and the app usage in space is rapidly increasing. As a matter of fact, we're seeing, for instance, with our e-newsletters that have been a staple of Crain's Trip Business and other publications, we're seeing that there's a consumption habit by device. That first thing in the morning, we have a ton of mobile, tablet, iPhone traffic from about 6 in the morning till about 9 o'clock. And then people are at work, and then it's about 80-20 desktop and device. And then people go back home, and then our best time for Facebook, for a business audience and a business publication, our best time is 9 o'clock at night. 9 o'clock at night. When people are finally at home, sitting down, watching TV. And again, so the native advertising of in-stream or in-unit or in-feed ads is being driven by the media consumption. The fact that we're looking at our streams. And so when you're looking at streams and you're seeing content from Crain's or from Forbes or from New York Times or from anywhere else, in your Twitter, in your Facebook, in your LinkedIn streams, where are the ad units? Where can you, how are you monetizing what you're doing? And so the in-feed or in-stream or in-context ads is now a big part of publishing. And then finally, the IAB just called this one custom content, or can't be contained. It's sort of a catch-all. But a good example would be, for instance, Pandora has branded radio stations. Branded stations. So it's not only in context or an ad, it literally is an advertiser having its own station within Pandora. And there's a lot of other examples like this. So, Ad Age actually, it's interesting, just this week wrote this article, Michael Spaxon, one of my colleagues, media companies strike gold with sponsored content. Media companies strike gold. The New York Times, Forbes, just about everyone in media and publishing are realizing that this is the new way to generate revenue, at the same time that marketers are saying this is a great way for us to get our message out in a much more compelling way than a static JPEG at 300 by 250 pixels. And the numbers are starting to bear it out when you look at the stats. So IPG and share through, which again it's a bit biased, so take it for a grain of salt, or what it's worth, but consumers looked at native ads 52% more frequently than banner ads. Consumers looked at native ads more than the original editorial content. So there's something about those native ads that draws people's attention. And by the way, I didn't have time to pull all the stats, but people don't mind native advertising, especially when given the choice between content and more in-depth information about a product than just a disruptive ad, like a print ad or a banner ad. But people want to be educated and informed. They don't mind it as long as it's in context to what they're looking for. Again, a couple stats on here, and if this is going to be available to the group, you'll see this. Purchase intent is 53% higher for native ads than for banner ads. The purchase intent is 53% higher. We've seen a 12.6% increase in native ad spending in 2013. That's been more than double 2014. 32% of consumers said they would share a native ad with friends and family. It's almost double the banner ad. It's about 17%. So we talked about native advertising, but I also want to talk about sponsored content and some of the gray areas where it's concerning. So this is a case with the Atlantic, where they did Scientology did a ad sponsored content. It looks just like an article. It's right in the Atlantic's website. The only way you could tell that it's bought and paid for by the Church of Scientology was that little yellow sponsored content up there. That was it. The concern is that not only did they run this article, and it's just not that transparent that it's actually written and paid for by the Church of Scientology, but they took it a step further, the Atlantic did, and they moderated comments on this article to only allow positive comments about this article. So when we say sponsored content, and we take this very seriously. Does sponsored content mean that we're writing, that Crain's, for instance, is writing the article and an advertiser has just sponsored this? Or does it mean that the advertiser actually has input and say in what is written? And so this is where the Frienemies part starts to come in. Editorial people despise this. Absolutely despise this. And so how can we get along? How can we all just get along? Sorry, one more thing I want to show you, custom content. So another aspect of native advertising and sponsored content, there's also custom content, which is a media company will partner with an advertiser and actually write their marketing materials for them. Now, whether it gets distributed through that media company or not, that's usually part of it, but that's another aspect of media and marketing working together. So, why media marketers can be friends? Because media has an audience that you're trying to reach, knows the audience very well. It has the behaviors of those audience, meaning I know what people are looking at, what they're clicking on, what stories interest in, what newsletters they've signed up for. We have that kind of demographic. And we're content creators. That's what we do. We have writers, we have journalists, we have video production people. We've got all that. So it can be great working together. But there's also concerns. I'm going to be quick on this because I know we only have a minute or two. Concern over native advertising. Consumer confusion. What's an ad? What's an article? What's true? What's not? What was paid for? What isn't? This is a huge issue. So it's so important if you're going into native advertising or if you're in media that you have to be transparent. Be very clear on your intentions. The worst form of advertising and marketing is deceptive advertising, and this really pushes the line beyond anything we've seen before. And so it's so important because this is, by the way, folks, if you're in marketing, this is where it's going. This is where it's going. We're redesigning our newspaper with new ad units for native advertising and Forbes, New York Times, everybody. This is where media and marketing is headed. So if you don't get this, you need to get it, but you need to understand the pitfalls and what to avoid. And so being transparent and clear on intentions is so important. Conflicts of interest. Working with respectable media that still believes and values that separation of church and state, that doesn't make their editorial content based on the advertising, because you lose credibility. Both the media and the marketer loses credibility when the audience finds you not credible and the media source is not credible. The Federal Trade Commission has acted on this, and they're going to continue to crack down, labeling much more clearly than in the past. So if you're working and you're doing this, making very clear and certain that your content is labeled, and limited manpower. So content is very difficult to produce. If you're writing articles, you're writing white papers, you're doing these advertorials, it takes a lot to do this. And for most marketers, they don't have an entire staff of content producers. So that's where working with media can be beneficial. And for instance, Crain Content Studio, which we have, which is our custom publishing division, but notice I put on there, well, you can't even see it. Advertisement, I put on there very clearly. So any questions? I want to save time for questions. I'm sure there's a ton. I had to go quickly through that, but lots of yes.
When you talk about native advertising, you didn't address the. Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't address the type of advertising where the native part of it is based on what the user did before. For example, I could look at a Crain's page and I'll see an Origins ad because I was shopping for Origins makeup yesterday.
Yeah, so that's not native advertising.
That's not?
No.
Okay.
That's so that's still a banner ad unit, but yeah. So it's not. So
but
native.
It's relevant to my activity. So I always thought that was called native, but it's not.
No. A native ad is something that looks like content in context to whatever you're doing.
Okay, so what is that called? That type of advertising?
Retargeting.
Retargeting. So retargeting ads means that, yes. So, well, there's two forms of that. There's retargeting. So if you came to Crain's Detroit business, and we don't have any retargeting right now, but if you came to Crain's and then you left and you went to, or here, a better example, you went to the University of Michigan Alumni Association site. Don't do it. I'm just kidding. You go there, and then everywhere you go after that, you're seeing a U of M Alumni Association ad in the banner ad unit, right? That's called retargeting, meaning you've been to that site, and so they're showing that ad to you, knowing that you've been to their site. But the ad they're showing you is still a traditional display banner.
But who gets the revenue? Doesn't Crain's get the revenue from that?
Yes, absolutely. The only difference is
sell that?
so
how
so
does that
yeah, but how many understands what I'm saying? Why that's different than maybe?
I do understand what's
Okay.
different, but it's still
Yeah.
a stream of revenue for Crain's, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's what that is. It's just a way to make display advertising a little more targeted. Otherwise, you're just buying ads that's reaching this general audience. But if you're buying ads for people that you know have been to your site, the idea is that it warms up the ad. Now the other thing is too.
How do you that type of advertising? How do you get that?
Almost all banner ad programs like Google AdWords and others, they have retargeting. Facebook offers retargeting right now. So if you put a code on your website and then you buy a Facebook ad, you can use your code basically to track people once they go to Facebook, and it'll show your ad on their stream in Facebook. Any other questions about native though? Yeah.
Well, actually, it's sort of a follow-on to her, which is, do you see an intersection between native advertising and things like programmatic buying, which is sort of the next stage of retargeting?
Well, so let's be clear. A lot of natives, the recommendation engines, the sponsored, that's based on your habits too. So it is a combination. So I mean, again, don't think of what's happening behind the scenes. That's all the same. The targeting, the demographic, the psychographic information, the data mining, that's all part of it. But what actually displays as an ad determines if it's display versus native. So if it's a banner ad, it's still banner. But if I know that you like a certain brand, and then I do a native ad, like in your newsletter, you put in an article that's specific to something that you like, that an advertiser paid for. Again, a native ad is something that looks like the content that you're viewing, that's not paid, if that makes sense.
Okay. That concludes our question portion of the program today. I'm sure that Eric will stick around for a little while afterwards, so he can answer more questions for you. We're going to do our introduction program, part of the program now. As the microphone comes to you, please stand, introduce yourself, give a little information. If you haven't asked, go ahead and share that. This is a great place to network, so make sure that other people know who you are and what you'd like to talk about. Right here.
I'm Bud Gibson. I created the search marketing program at Eastern Michigan University, and boy, am I glad I came today. That was extremely informative, and I appreciated sort of the final clarification on that what we were talking about was a sort of a difference in format versus a difference in underlying targeting technology. Really enlightening.
Hi, I'm Tasha Moore with Martopia. We're a marketing and public relations group. As part of a PR group, we do a lot of helping establish business professionals as thought leaders. And as such, we have a big interest in leadership skills. And we are going to be hosting an ongoing meetup at our office. We're actually doing leadership training for our company, but we're opening that up to anyone else who may want to go through this leadership program. It's going to be held weekly, Fridays during lunch, and there is a charge for the materials that we'll be using, which are provided by a New York Times bestseller author. But other than that, the facilitation and the meetup and everything's free, so if anybody has an interest in furthering their leadership skills, just please talk to me after.
My name is Conroy. I'm a freelance digital marketing consultant. I do pay-per-click advertising, search engine optimization, social media campaigns. If you're interested in any of those things, taking your brand online or maybe it's not performing as well as you'd like, or maybe you have questions about remarketing or specific aspects, feel free to come up and talk to me. I'd love to talk to anybody who would be interested. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Dr. Thomas Blackwell. I represent Impel International. We're a leadership, development, and training company. We help people ponder just one question. Think about this. What's the difference between a productive plant and a weed? We help people develop other income streams. We work with people around the world. So if you're looking to develop an income stream, come to me.
Hi, I'm Janet Blackwell, and in our company we have some exclusive products, and right now we're featuring ribbon gifts, which are a gift-giving program where the person who receives the gift gets to pick out the gift that they want, not something that you think they want. So if you're looking for some gifts for employees or family or other companies, let me know and I'll help you out.
Good afternoon, my name is David Coleman. I work for Brand Google. We help brands and retailers manage online pricing and presentation.
Hi, I'm Stacy from Dollarville, your local digital print shop. We do printing fast and cost effective. I have two asks today. One, I'm on the Power of the Purse, and the event's coming up in March, so we're collecting purses, new. So if you have a purse in your closet, your wife has a purse in her closet that she bought and never used and the tags are on it, I can use it. Or if you just want to go buy a new purse and donate it, we would love that too. And number two, I'm looking for proofreaders. I know Susan, so I've got her, but I like when someone asks for a reference to be able to give them more than one name. So if anybody knows a proofreader, I could use a couple names. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Simonton. I work with Maniacs Branding. We are located here in Ann Arbor. We take business owners and entrepreneurs' passions and personalities. We mix it with our strategy and design to build a solid brand foundation so that they are able to position and market themselves correctly and effectively. If you have any questions, just let me know, or you can learn more at maniacsbranding.com. Thank you.
I'm Bob Ferran, and I take pictures. I'm a commercial and advertising photographer here in Ann Arbor, so if you need any help with photography for that, can help you.
Good afternoon. My name is April Davis. I'm the president of Breakout Marketing Group, and I've been in marketing for over 25 years, and I thought I knew what I was doing until I came today. I learned so much, and I realized that the platform of marketing has changed, and it's how important it is for us to change with it. I do help a lot of entrepreneurs in the beginning get started on their strategic plan in marketing, and now I realize that I really have to include all the areas of digital marketing.
Hi, I'm Bonnie, and I'm an intern at Unitask Digital Marketing. Hi everybody, pardon the sniffles. My name is Brittany. I'm from the creative group. What I do is I specialize in the placement of freelance and contract to hire creatives. So always looking for new clients and always looking for a great fit for our candidates. Thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Jordan Cruz. I intern at Ingenix Digital Marketing. I'm a business student at Eastern Michigan University.
My name's Alan Clark. Never been here, didn't really know what to expect, but learned some things, and look forward to meet all of you. I have just stepped off the ledge, or I'm in the middle of stepping off the ledge. Haven't quite jumped yet, but starting my own communications, public affairs company. Thanks. And I guess I'll ask for all your clients. I'd love to have clients there.
Oh, my. Hi, I'm Anthony Nitzos, and my company is called Ascendius. We work exclusively with small business owners to permanently eliminate the aggravations they usually have on the money side of their business. We've been doing this for about 15 years here in Ann Arbor. I have an ask, which is this Saturday. For the first time, our company is sponsoring a free intensive, and I stress free and intensive, 4-hour workshop called Fiscal Fitness, Increase Your Cash Flow Before the Year End. If any of you are interested in coming, I still have a few spots left. They're closing up quickly. I had to move venues and expand, which is great. It's been a tremendous response. So if you're an entrepreneur and you'd like to get a better handle on your company finances and accounting, you might want to check that out. Thank you.
My name is Jessica Ping. I work with Northwestern Mutual. I came as a guest of Anthony's, and I also know Derek very well as well. I work with a lot of small businesses, business owners, regarding financial planning and overall insurances and just making sure that your business is in place. The business owners are doing tax efficient planning, and that's my focus. But I've been in the area of working with businesses for 18 years and have worked with over 2,500 clients and business owners. So that's, I might ask today is if you have a business owner friend or you are a business owner and you're looking to get an overview of your insurances and overall financial planning, definitely reach out to me. Thank you.
Hi there, my name is Tim Police. I used to, until very recently, work in the corporate communications department in a large area company that just underwent a few changes. My expertise there was in corporate communications as a webmaster and writer. Eric, I should have mentioned when you asked about media, I used to write a column for Crain's back in 2006 and 2007. Writing, editing, content management, those are my skills, and I'm certainly looking for my next opportunity. Thank you.
I'm Roger Rail, Venture Catalyst. Go to Ignite Ann Arbor #9, Friday night, 7 o'clock at the Blau Auditorium, igniteannarbor.org.
Hi, I'm Ann Abrams. I'm in charge of business development for the Ann magazine. I was very interested in your presentation today. I come from a background of total separation of church and state. My training ground was McGraw-Hill Publications. So I really enjoyed your presentation today.
Susan Harris, I just have a general interest in marketing.
Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Janet Tyler. I am the former co-CEO of Airfoil, and as of 1 week I'm celebrating my independence and have stepped off the ledge, and I'm looking for career opportunities, hopefully in Ann Arbor.
Hi, I'm Kevin Clark with Robert Half Technology. Been enjoying coming here to LA2M for about a month now. This is another very informative talk, so thank you, Eric. A lot of marketing is new to me. I work more on the technology side of the industry, working with clients on helping them find web development, software development talent, but looking to expand my own knowledge into the marketing space. As you mentioned, technology and media and marketing are all coming together, and trying to learn more to best help my clients, and also always looking for good talent too. If you're looking for more business, working in the marketing space, working in the technology space, some way we might be able to connect you with somebody we work with. Thanks.
I'm Carter Sherlock, Front Print Studios. I'm a commercial editorial and portrait photographer. Covers just about anything out of photography except for weddings. People that know me as being the running photographer for Michigan Runner magazine, a number of other running publications, golf publications. And I've had a few shots in Crain's.
Okay, folks, it's 1 o'clock on the dot. We're going to have one more round of applause for our...
I have an ask. Okay. I need to do an ask. If you email me, cedo@crain.com, I'll give you 3 months of Crain's for free, just print and online. So just email me, and if you're not a subscriber. So.
Next week at LA2M,
I put LA2M in the subject line.
Our speaker is Ryan Schramm, and I know that many of you market through social media. Ryan is going to talk about how you can make your social media stand out from the clutter. So that's obviously very valuable to many people in this room. So I hope you come back next week, and great to see all you here for this interesting program, and have a great week. I'll do this.